Oh my gosh. We made it back to a theater.
I still don't believe that. I mean,
No, and what's even more unbelievable is that the movie we saw was New Mutants. What?
yeah, out of all the movies that were in the theater that could have welcomed us back in their loving, warm arms, why New Mutants? That was the weirdest one.
Movie we should have gotten 3 years ago. What's going on, guys? We're the Cinefanatics. My name is Chris Adams.
And I'm Robert Adams.
And we're bringing you a review for New Mutants.
Wait, we're doing a movie review?
We're doing a movie review, real movie review, outside of our show that we do on Tuesday nights called The Tagline, which we've done a couple movie reviews on that, mostly streaming movies like Palm Springs and American Pickle. You should go check that out. We're doing an actual real movie review.
For a movie that, again, should have been out 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, right off the bat, absolutely. First thing I want to say, no spoilers. There's no spoilers in this review.
Yeah.
And we're keeping in mind, given the current situation that we're still in here in America, there's still a pandemic going on. In some places, you can't get to a movie theater. We don't want to be part of the ones that are perpetuating, like, spoilers. Like, we'll tell you how the movie is, but we're not going to reveal things about it.
We're going to respect your ability to see it when you feel comfortable seeing the movie. So, no spoilers, not even close. I know some of y'all out there might want to hear spoiler thoughts. That's for another time.
Yeah. That also being said, I know a lot of concern is people going out to a movie theater in this time. In our local area here of Austin, Texas, they have determined that it is safe enough for us to venture off to a movie theater. The movie theater that we went to is a theater we went to before the pandemic started. We completely researched, made sure this theater was doing the utmost of health precautions before we bought tickets to go see this movie. So we made sure everything was good, clean, on the up with this movie theater. So
cleaning, that's masks on, that's social distancing, and as long as everything is at least to the standards of
us,
there's definitely that, but also to the standards of what is acceptable right now for businesses to do, and then more so because we know that this particular theater is going an extra step beyond what the government is dictating. So
therefore, we felt it was safe for us to be able to go to a movie theater. If you don't feel safe going to a movie theater, please do not go. Completely up to you if you want to go. And
be safe about it. Be smart about it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's completely respectful of your opinion if you want to go or not. We decided to go because we felt it was safe. So that aside, let's jump into this actual review.
Oh, yeah. We've got some things to talk about on this one. Again, first of all, this is a movie that we should have seen at least 2.5 to 3 years ago. So it is weird that I don't feel like anybody who is in this movie looks older now than they did when in this movie.
No, all these people moisturize like beautifully. I mean, the skin is all clear and they all look good still.
And that's our review of New Mutants. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, skin moisturizing. That's why you click.
Spoilers on the skincare.
Yeah, that's why you click on the Cinefanatics to hear about moisturizing content.
Right. So a lot of interesting stuff about this movie. Which do we want to dive into first?
First, let's talk about the overall story of this movie. I mean, you know the story from what we see in the trailer. There's a bunch of new mutants at this hospital-like facility, seemingly kept there against their will, and they're all there for a certain higher purpose, which, again, we don't want to spoil. And that's about it. This movie takes place, if you've seen any of the trailers or like the first 3 minutes that were given online, the movie is primarily taking place from Danielle Moonstar's point of view. She is like our eyes into this world of the New Mutants, and everything is seemingly goes from there.
Yeah.
This is based off a comic book that came out back in the 80s. I believe it was Chris Claremont that did this. And here's the thing. I'm a big comic book fan. I'm completely familiar with these characters. Going into the story, I thought overall the story like kind of nailed the idea of the New Mutants pretty well, I would say.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job with bringing these New Mutants, because I don't know how else to refer to X-Force Jr., bringing them onto the screen.
Yeah.
The story, going into story 4, I would say that the first half of this is kind of a little bit of a struggle, in so much that it's primarily just all the characters just sitting down and getting to know each other.
It's definitely a little bit more slower pace. It is a lot of introductions between the characters, but then it's more so All right, let's just it's a real deep dive into how are they interacting, how are they working with each other, working against each other, what have you, all the different elements that are involved with that. And if you look at it just as a characterization, maybe if you know them more so from the comics, you might find some interest there. There's definitely some deeper dive stuff in some of those interactions that some of the characters have, but for the most part, that first half did feel a little bit like it dragged on a little bit too much.
My only other takeaway, like at least on the first half of it, was, yes, like I said, this is from Moonstar's point of view, but there's some of these where, like, even the characters that were already at the hospital have already, they've been there for a while already. We don't know exactly how long, but they've already been there, and seemingly they've already interacted. There's times that, like, where they're interacting in this particular time where it seems like this is a conversation I would have figured that y'all would have already had. Y'all would have already gotten to know each other on this level. And it felt kind of weird that they were seemingly only having it just now just because Moonstar had just joined them in this facility. So I thought that was a little weird. That was probably like one of the negatives I felt story-wise, that just it didn't fit right. I was like, you already know each other. Like, why? Y'all should all just be focusing on talking to Moonstar and whatever.
But that second half, though, once the action started taking off in the climax, that really grabbed my attention. I think they did a lot of like really cool and interesting stuff. Again, diving back into some of those character interactions and how those interactions kind of brought forth what happened in that final act.
Yeah, a lot of the action stuff that you see in the trailers was all confined to the second half of this movie. Was fantastic. The ideas behind everything I thought worked pretty well, given the fact that, again, this was supposed to be a smaller, self-contained movie that hopefully at some point was to lead to a bigger New Mutants franchise, which I don't think we're gonna get, but
yeah,
there was a lot of good like connections and stuff to what we've seen before already in the X-Men universe that I felt fit perfectly in this movie, and I would have loved to have seen those expanded on had we gone into further movies.
And it should be noted also, one of the things you look at when you look at superhero movies, it's visual effects quality. I know that the Demon Bear persona was shown off a little bit within the trailers. Looks fantastic in this movie. I thought they did an excellent job.
They've had 3 years to work on it.
They've had 3 years to work on it and get Demon Bear looking pretty good, but
he looks snazzy.
Hey, Demon Bear here, I look snazzy in this film. For those of you who don't know why I just went into a crazy voice for that, you should, again, watch Tagline. It's our show that we do Tuesday nights. It's our movie news stuff. We've come up with a whole persona, a whole voice for Demon Bear on that, and so if you're coming from there, you recognize. Anyway, Demon Bear's American Top 40. All right, so no, they did a really good job with how they portrayed Demon Bear, the way he looked. I say he, it, whatever.
Yeah. Are you checking the
stop
the gender of these Demon Bears?
Him, her, it, them.
Wow!
However Demon Bear identifies.
Demon Bear wants to be identified.
Demon Bear looked great. So, moving past Demon Bear, get on off me now. The rest of the cast. Let's talk about this cast in this movie.
The casting, I feel like the casting was very well done. They nailed the characterizations of them by the casting choices. I know there's some controversy going out with that. I don't really want to dive into those too much. Because again, me as a comic book fan, I felt like the way they portrayed them, I felt was pretty loyal to the comics. There's a couple of things here and there that probably could have been improved upon a little, but I felt like some of them, like from the looks, the personality, the way they act. This was a comic book movie where they actually got like all the names correctly, which some of those like they messed the names up for some weird reason. I don't know why. They got everyone properly portrayed in this movie, and I thought that was great.
The standouts in this movie was Rain, or Maisie Williams, Ilanya, Anya Taylor-Joy. I think those two for me specifically were like the big standouts in this movie. They were the characters that I felt a little bit more emotional depth with, given just exactly the struggles that they had to go through, that they were facing, and all sorts of stuff within this film. So those are the ones that kind of really were the highlights for me. Especially, we need to give props to the dialect coaches who worked with them to get them nailing those accents. Just an all-around great job.
Between Rain, who had the Scottish accent, Ilyana was Russian, and then you had Sam, who had the very deep Southern accent. Fantastic on those. My favorite that I will point out is Moonstar, Danielle Moonstar Mirage. I thought Blue Hunt was the actress that portrayed her. I thought she did a phenomenal job as that character, again, because she's coming in as essentially our point of view, our window to this world. All the standout casting, everything I thought was really good.
It was a fairly decent adventure, whatever, what have you. There was a lot of like really good stuff, a lot of good notes of hitting topics that are relevant to individuals today.
In short, this movie was, I would say, much better than it had any right to be. I mean, you see a movie get pushed back and delayed for years, you got to think like the worst thing about it, and I don't feel like that was true with this movie. This movie wasn't the best. But it was decent for what it was, and I mean I will give it some leniency on the fact that I know there were some reshoots, I know there was some studio control. It had to barrel on through the whole like Fox Disney merger. I understand all of that, and I thought the movie was still pretty good. In fact, if I was comparing it to the other X-Men movies, I would say this movie still stands above. Well, I mean Dark Phoenix goes without saying. I feel like this movie still kind of stands above, like say Apocalypse or maybe Last Stand, definitely X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I'm just saying though, when the bar is set pretty low, it's pretty good to surpass it.
So I feel like this was a pretty decent movie, on par with like a good, decent X-Men movie, and
it's definitely not my personal favorite X-Men movie. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like that could have still been better about it. But yeah, when compared to a lot of these other X-Men movies, the story was a lot tighter, was a lot better than some of these other films.
Yeah. So as far as rating goes, so basing this off of 10, I'm probably going to have to go, I will probably give this about a good 7 Lockheeds.
7 out of 10 Lockheeds. Nice.
7 out of 10 Lockheeds.
Little dragon guy.
Little purple dragon.
Little purple dragon guy. And the thing with me is that first half, a first half that drags for me really kind of kills my interest going into the third act, even though the third act, the final act, what have you, was great. It was pretty good. It still puts a bad flavor on the entire movie as a whole. I will be as fair as I can be and say I give it about 6.5. I would say a good 6.5. Little purple dragon Lockheeds out of 10. So that's where I stand on it. You know, it's got great characters. The climax is fantastic. The notes that it touches on throughout the film, talking about today's subjects and what have you, that is all great stuff. The first half dragging though is kind of a bummer for me. So
yeah. So that's going to do it for this review. What did y'all think of New Mutants? If you've seen it, let us know down below. Do you agree with our point of view, with our opinion? Do you not agree with our opinion? Keep in mind, it's an opinion, so feel free to disagree or agree if you would like.
You can have one.
Yeah, they're allowed. Anyways, so yeah, let us know what you think down below. Also, make sure you come back on Tuesday for the tagline. It is Tuesday nights, typically 9 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 Central Time, somewhere on there. Make sure you come back and join us while we discuss movies and have a whole lot of fun on those movie nights. Yep. We also do a show called the Schmodown Replay where we play along with the game show called the Movie Trivia Schmodown. Come back for that because we have a lot of fun with that. If you like movie trivia, you'll like the Schmodown. Come back for the Schmodown Replay. It's so much fun. Yep. Also, make sure you follow us on social media. We are at Cinefanatics MLP on Twitter and Instagram. So whenever we do stuff, make sure you follow us on there. Also, hit us up on our Patreon. It's patreon.com/Cinefanatics. Join the tier, it's right for you. We have movie watch-alongs coming this next month on the $10 tier. We will be doing watch-alongs of Inception and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You will want to follow us for that because they're a lot of fun to do. I love doing movie watch-alongs.
It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, make sure you like and comment on this video. I said commenting earlier, but you know what? Comment again. If you left one, leave a second one. That's cool for us. Make sure you like this video. You can also subscribe to the Cinefanatics by hitting that subscribe button down below. Also, click the bell so you know when we go live. Also, you can subscribe to us by hitting the button that's right up there above his head. Over off to the side are a couple other videos that we have made. And, as always...
I can't wait for New Mutants 2. When's that coming?
Never.
Oh, no.
Later.
See ya.
It's never coming out. I'm surprised we got this one.
Well, Demon Bear, peacing out then.
See ya, Demon Bear.